Your love is like a mystery train. Wherever it goes, and ain't never coming back. Darling, darling, your love is like a mystery train. Wherever it goes, and ain't never coming back. Darling, darling.
Judith Licata joins us. She's written a book called The Mystery of Love, The Adventures of Peter in Lavender Valley. And Judith has an interesting background. She was even part of a team of teachers for NASA that developed aeronautical lesson plans by McGraw-Hill. So it's like a big deal to have that happen. And now here she has this novel for young people. So Judith, thanks for coming on, and tell us first of all about being a part of that team of teachers for NASA.
Sure. I was invited by the woman that got the $1 million contract with NASA to develop a K-8 aeronautics internet textbook for educators. It was developed and processed, and today the textbook has about 2 million hits monthly. It has been very well received across the nation, and the workbook that was created by McGraw-Hill from the textbook was developed after the K-8 aeronautics internet textbook for the educators was developed. I was a part of 6 teachers that developed this process, and my boss at the time invited me to go ahead and do another second project, which was called Math to the Moon and Beyond. And it was an exciting time and really developed my skills in writing.
Nice. So now you write this novel. Why'd you write a novel?
I wrote a novel so that I could have a larger audience in schools and in libraries across the nation.
So you write the book again. The book is The Mystery of Love, The Adventures of Peter in Lavender Valley. Where did the inspiration come for this story?
It came from a wide variety of experiences that I had growing up, and so I developed a whole community called Lavender Valley and gave the main character, Peter, an adventure with his cousin after he finishes his 4th grade school year. And during that time, other people come into the story that help him to go through the process of losing his dad to World War I. And one of the adventures that happens is that 2 men come into the local pharmacy where there is a drugstore and a counter, where these 2 men come in and they ask, "We're looking for a sea captain." And the woman who runs the counter says, "No, we don't have anybody in this area that fills that description." And so during the summer, a mysterious truck, keeps coming into the valley, driving around the back road, and Peter and his cousin, who's staying with him for the summer, try to figure out who he is. And the second mystery is that these 2 men that come in with black suits from the government keep reappearing in the story, wanting to know where this sea captain is. And what ends up happening is that we do not find out who these 2 men are looking for until the end of the book. And so there's interwoven with the adventures that Peter and Jonathan have with their friends and with their encounters with different people that live in the valley. These 2 men keep reappearing. And at the end of the story, we find out who the old man is in the driving the truck. And this happens during the time when Peter is imagining what he will do when he grows up. And he has just an essence in his personality that activates his mind and his adventures.
Wow. I love that all unravels at the tail end of it. Was it fun for you to write the book?
It was fun, and it was challenging, and it was impactful because of interweaving with different things that happened as I was growing up. One thing that I bring into the book was a cat that was similar to a cat that I had that would go in the backyard, and this is unbelievable, but he would put an avocado under his chin, and then he would climb up a tree and come into the window of an upstairs apartment that we lived in, and he would dump the avocado on the floor. Well, in the story, I bring that personality of that cat into Peter's neighbor, Teresa. And so it really gives me an opportunity to express things that have happened in my own life through the character in Lavender Valley.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Let me stop you there. It made me think of this, what happened with your childhood. Can a child's emotions and identity be strengthened, do you think, by a book like yours?
I definitely believe that. And I think that kids today, because of their exposure to the media, do not understand the value of reading a book and holding it in their own hands, because it gives them the opportunity to develop their own imaginative skills in their own emotional development.
Yeah, well said. What do you hope, on that same note, what do you hope the audience listening, the kids who read it, even adults who get it and read it to kids, etc., what do you hope they take away from reading your book?
That their creation, and when they were created in the image of God, and that they can have a personal encounter with their Creator God. And that's part of what I've also interwoven into the story.
Yeah, did you have, you made me think, because of the NASA experience, and that was academic, and then going in this direction, did you read a lot when you were a kid? Did you have a lot of favorite books?
I did. And one of the books that I really enjoyed was Alice in Wonderland. And I don't know if you're aware, but in Alice in Wonderland, it was a comment on what was going on in our world and in the politics of England. And so I have interwoven at the very end of the book how the encounters of what goes on today in our society, in our world, in our countries that are trying to take over the world. I have also included that in the very tail end of the book. Peter finds out through some of the characters of what could possibly happen in the future, in the years and centuries ahead.
There you go. We don't want to give too much away. Judith Licata, again, the book is really intriguing for kids, for sure. The Mystery of Love, The Adventures of Peter in Lavender Valley. You can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's so interesting that Judith said Alice in Wonderland, because I think there's lots of different metaphors and meanings in Alice in Wonderland. And as a kid, that was probably one of my favorite books too. I would say that. And I agree with her. When we talk to authors who focus on kids about the imagination and the importance of books, that's one of my reasons for doing these author segments, because I always, when I was a kid, that was so encouraged for me to read books. And I lost my father at a young age, and I read books, and it lifted me up. There was something about escaping to these different places, and that's exactly what she's saying when she talks about Peter, who is a fourth grader who is grieving the loss of his father in the First World War. And as he's leaving for school, as she was talking about, leaving school for summer vacation, what does he do? How does he escape from all that sadness? And he daydreams about the fun that he's ultimately going to get into when he has this tree house and it's even on the cover of the book, that his uncle is building for him in the backyard of his home in what we talk about Lavender Valley. But there's all kinds of twists and interesting, I think, exciting moments in this book. It's like she said, it all unravels and you get it at the end. You figure out other parts of it at the end. So the fact that you have this fourth grader on a summer vacation, what he unearths in a box in the attic, and some of the secrets and the mysteries and all those things that, make him very, very curious. It's really, really an interesting read for sure. So like I said, you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Thanks to all of you for listening to this interview and this show. Make it count, everybody.